Imagine we have significant evidence that we're going through at the moment, whether it's CCTV, whether it's social media. We stood up Operation Shelter at the moment. They will actually scrape through social media as well as the investigators. We're keen to find out any evidence that may be available. If people do have information or evidence, we ask they contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Commissioner, in April of this year, your predecessor said that the relationship and information sharing between the Australian Federal Police and the New South Wales Police on counter-terrorism needed to be reviewed and improved. Since that time, how has that relationship been reviewed and improved?
I think both organisations work very closely together and very well. It is too premature in relation to this specific incident to talk about the information sharing. The Australian Federal Police and the New South Wales Police obviously work within joint counter-terrorism arrangements. We are committed as both agencies, and I've spoken to the Federal Police Commissioner, to make sure we work closely. Together, we keep the community safer. So I'm very confident that both agencies are working together.
Well, Premier, we got this incident yesterday where the shooter had a gun licence. John Edwards, Jack Elterson, a neo-Nazi, until recently had a gun licence. Clearly, New South Wales has a checkered recent history with people with gun licences committing criminal acts. Doesn't our gun registry laws need to change? What can you do now to ensure this doesn't happen again?
I mean, the short answer is yes. They need to change, and they can change. It does require legislation, and it means introducing a bill to Parliament to be really blunt, make it more difficult to get these horrifying weapons that have no practical use in our community.
Do you think
if you're not a farmer, if you're not involved in agriculture, why do you need these massive weapons that put the public in danger and make life dangerous and difficult for New South Wales Police? So I understand, of course I understand the genuine desire to have information about how the law will change. We're less than 24 hours into this horrifying crime. I want to make sure that legislation and reform that we bring to Parliament makes a big difference, but that's exactly my intention, and my colleagues feel exactly the same way.
Premier, what about an audit of current firearm licence holders to determine whether the people who currently have a licence still need one, considering that we had a man in suburban Sydney with 6 firearms?
Yeah, I mean, that has been flagged by New South Wales Police as an issue because the granting of a firearms licence in perpetuity is clearly not fit for purpose when you consider that someone might have committed an offence, put themselves in a situation where they're considered by police vulnerable to a criminal act. We need to make sure the firearms legislation in New South Wales is fit for purpose. That does mean restricting firearms for the general public, for the people of New South Wales, but not everybody needs these weapons of mass destruction. You don't need them on New South Wales streets. So we'll be looking at change. I understand you want details. That's completely understandable. You're going to have to give me some time to get the legislation drafted so that we can do it in an appropriate way, in a way that will make a difference.
Will you consider recalling Parliament to make those changes?
Premier, can I ask, will the Opera House be lit up this week to honour the victims?
We're working with the Jewish community about appropriate reflections and memorials, and we'll have more to say about that.
Is that an appropriate memorial?
It may well be, but I'm not ready to announce it.
Will the government consider changes to New Year's Eve celebrations and consider increased security given the threats that are circulating online about potential additional violent events? And Commissioner, is police aware of those threats being made online?
Look, of course that's a massive issue. New South Wales Police, the government, have turned our minds to those big celebrations, those iconic days in Sydney, but at the moment our immediate focus is on this investigation and keeping the community of Bondi, Dover Heights safe.
Premier, are you aware, or Commissioner, any of you are aware about a social media post circulating about a violent rally in Cronulla on the 27th of December?
Well, I'll answer and then throw to Mal. I mean, I'll just say that will be met with the full force of the law. There will be no tolerance for any kind of retribution or some kind of vindictive counter assault on anyone in our community. We are not going to allow ever a situation where we descend into some kind of lawlessness, and if you are considering participating in something like that, you can expect a massive, overwhelming police response. It will not be tolerated. We need to appeal for calm. We need to be in a situation where we're saying to the people of New South Wales, this is a horrible event. You have to allow the communities in New South Wales to heal, to have some moment of reflection where they can mourn the loss of their loved ones. The last thing we need is a descent into vindictive violence, and we won't tolerate it in New South Wales.
Yeah, thanks, Premier. I'm actually aware of that social media post. One of the key roles of Operation Shelter is to make sure that we scrape intelligence, to make sure that we plan appropriate responses. So this will be an ongoing process. We will be looking for matters that we need to plan a police response about. Our focus is clear: to keep the community safe. If people think that they're going to engage in violence, they're wrong. The police will be there, the police will take appropriate action, and I want to make that really clear. Calm is what is required at the moment. Retribution is inappropriate. The community is in grief, the community is mourning. We need calm.
Are you concerned about any of their other family members?
पुलिस चीफ की गुफ्तगू आप मुलाहजा कर रहे थे, वो वाक़े पर मीडिया को ब्रीफिंग दे रहे थे, बता रहे थे कि किस तरीके से ये वाक़या पेश हुआ है।